Walking chords are cool, aren't they? G'day, I'm Mike Hayes, and in this session, we'll be looking at ways of moving major seventh chords and minor seventh chords all over the guitar fingerboard. And we'll be creating this walking movement in the style of Thelonious Monk. And of course, Thelonious played all these chords on the keyboard. Actually, it's a lot easier to do on the guitar. But of course, we won't tell any of our keyboard playing friends that. They'll just think we're really dedicated and are putting in a lot more work. Okay, let's get cracking and see how we do this. It's really very simple. Here we go. In this session, we're going to create a series of walking chords to connect a major seventh chord to a minor seventh chord. Now, of course, there's many ways that you can do this. However, we'll be focusing on the Thelonious Monk way of connecting major seventh chords to minor seventh chords. And this is one of his favourite techniques. Now, before we jump into this lesson, if the concept of walking chords is new to you, you might want to check out our recent video on walking dominant seventh chords. I'll put a link in the top right hand corner of this video. I'll start with an example in the key of C, so you get an idea of the concept, and then we'll be moving this idea through all the keys. Now specifically, we're going to be connecting chord 1 to chord 3. So in the key of C, that would be C major 7th, would be chord 1. And then we're going to work out a series of chords that'll connect us to chord 3, which in the key of C would be E minor 7. Now the minor 7th chord, built on the 3rd degree of a diatonic scale, is a very useful chord and a very important chord. Some of you might already know that you can substitute chord 1 with chord 3, and that is because an E minor 7 could also be thought of as a G6, which is a concept that we've spoke about in an earlier lesson, and that is that you can play a 6th on the 5th. In other words, the 5th of C is G, so we could play a G6. And of course the resultant sound, when we do this, produces a C major 9. So the idea is essentially, if I'm moving from a C major 7 to an E minor 7, we could think about this as being really just creating movement in a bar of C major. Before we get into the playing side of things, let's have a look at the underlying principles that are at work here. Once we understand how this technique works, it'll be easy to remember and you'll have a lot of fun with this. We're going to be using 3-note chords. I'll be omitting the 5th. So with the C major 7th chord, I'm using a C as my bass note, and the movement of the bass note is tone, semitone, semitone. So let's have a look at the actual notes in the bass. The tone movement is when we move from a C to a D. The next movement is a semitone movement, and that is D to D sharp. And then I'm going to move another semitone from D sharp to E. The remaining 2 upper voices in the chords are going to move in semitones. So if we have a look at the top note in the C major 7th, the note E, the E will move to F, then to F sharp, and then G. The second note in the upper structure will move from B in the C major 7th chord, upper semitone to C, another semitone C sharp, and another semitone D. And there we have it. In a nutshell, that's the formula we need to remember. When we want to create movement from chord 1 in a key to chord 3, in this instance we're moving from a C major 7th to an E minor 7th, the bass moves in tone, semitone, semitone movement, and the 2 other voices in the chords move in semitone movement. Now the really cool thing is the way that this translates across to the guitar fretboard is that you start with your major 7th chord, you think of your destination chord shape. In this instance it's going to be an E minor shape. Then basically what you're doing is starting a tone lower than your destination, so you're creating the minor 7th shape, and then you're moving up in semitones. You're moving up from D minor 7th to D sharp minor 7, and then arriving at your destination chord, E minor 7. Okay, time to start putting all this to practice. We'll begin by playing a series of major 7th chords around the circle of 5ths, and we'll be moving in an anti-clockwise direction. Each chord will sustain for 4 beats. And now by using that process that we just spoke about earlier, we're going to create walking chords, 4 chords in the bar of C major, and then we're going to connect in the second bar to F major 7th, and in turn create 4 walking chords in that bar, which will then of course connect us to the B flat major 7th in the third bar. Okay, I'm going to walk right around the circle of 5ths, creating chord movement in each bar. You might just want to check out the video first before you practice it. It'll give you a really good workout. Wow, that's a lot of chords you've just played. When you're ready, we're going to do exactly the same thing, only on a different string set. I'm going to play this next series of chords on the 2nd, 3rd and 5th strings. Let's begin by playing the major 7th chords around the circle of 5ths, sustaining each chord for 4 beats. Now let's try the walking chords on that string set. Okay, that's it for this session, folks. I do hope you found something interesting there. Shortly we'll be applying a lot of these concepts to the chord progressions of jazz standards, so the more groundwork you do now, it'll be a lot easier when we get to those sessions. Don't forget, if you like the type of things that we're doing, remember to subscribe and like our videos. It really helps us a lot, and hit the notifications bell. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, don't forget to pop them in the comments section below this video. And having said that, I look forward to catching up with you again next time. Bye for now.